I think we are half the participants. So I would like to welcome everyone and who has joined in our policy dialogue. We are going to, and on our agenda, we are going to receive the welcome remarks from the Executive Director of EPRN Rwanda, and there will come the presenter of today. And before that, we will have the opening picture. So that means I would request that time everyone to put on their, that you may have a picture. So without taking long, me welcome the Executive Director of EPRN Rwanda for the welcome remarks. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you. I was saying thank you for responding to our invitation. I'm called Seti Kwizera. I work with EPRN. Thank you, Irene, moderator, for this opportunity. We are now convening this afternoon to have a policy dialogue on economic recovery fund. As all of us, you know, our country and even the whole world is going through this situation of COVID. So as a country to fight against this pandemic, also trying to our economy, we said it's good to have a time and discuss on economic recovery and economic recovery fund as one of the recovery measures of the country to mitigate the negative impacts of the pandemic. So we are in the room together with our presenter, Mr. Obard Hakizimana, from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, who will share with us the achievements of the first phase of the economic recovery fund, also has through for the next phase. I am sure participants, you have at least some basic knowledge of what is economic recovery fund. That's a fund which was put aside by the government to finance, to try to finance businesses which were hardly hit by the pandemic. There are some businesses like manufacturing sector, hospitality sector, which were hardly hit by the pandemic. Then our country, in the sense of helping businesses to recover, set up this fund. So as a network of researchers and the other experts interested to the life of the country in terms of economics, we said it's good to meet and brainstorm on this fund, the interventions, and know the plans of the country as far as this support to businesses is concerned. I don't want to go in the topic because we have an expert from the Ministry of Finance who will share with that what from a fund to the fund to works for the first phase and the plans for the way forward. And also participants, what we expect from you is to ask questions, make comments, recommendations, which can help the Minecofin in the other parts concerned with REF to make it. So from on behalf of EPRN, really thanking you for attending this event. And it's a culture at EPRN, we are used to have this kind of policy debates whereby we invite policymakers and discuss on selected topic for the purpose of knowledge sharing, but also to give invitations from researchers, experts in the sector of economics. So thank you again, and I think I will learn a lot from the presenter, Mr. Obard, but also in the team, learn a lot from each of us as we'll be sharing a few comments. So thank you very much. I wish you a very nice fruitful deliberations.
Yeah, as the chair made a brief presentation, I hope that everyone at least has a little information on Economic Recovery Fund. Maybe I would like to start again by greeting everyone here. And as they said, my name is Obardi Hakizimana. I'm an economist working at Minecofin, Chief Economist Department. Yeah, before maybe coming to Economic Recovery Fund, I would like to just to say a few words on Economic Recovery Plan. Yeah, normally when COVID happened, you remember that it was in March. The first case in Rwanda was in March last year, meaning 2020. And after that time, 3 weeks after, we went to the first lockdown. And after the lockdown, the government set an economic recovery plan. What was like a response to the COVID impact at that period? And like we always have the plan. We need also to have the budget, and the budget for this case, I can say that is this economic recovery fund. Now, I hope that you have already the presentation in front of you. If yes, we can go together, starting by introduction, as I was saying, to provide a framework for the government's response to the pandemic. An economic recovery plan was established in April 2020. The economic recovery plan includes measures to strengthen social protection and assist the farms affected by the pandemic, along with the adoption of fiscal policies to support growth. As part of the economic recovery plan, as I was saying, the government of Rwanda established an economic recovery fund to support economic activity and businesses most significantly affected by COVID-19, so that they can survive. Because you know, some of enterprises was not able to even to continue operating. This fund came to help at least them to survive. The example I can give here is, for instance, hotels. You are seeing that even until today, hotels are not operating very well. But due to this economic recovery fund, they can survive. Another objective was to resume operation and safeguard employment for cushioning the economic effects of the pandemic. Now, the economic recovery fund priority was some sectors like tourism and hospitality, trade, manufacturing, transport, agriculture, education, health, real estate, information and telecommunication, and micro businesses. Now, the government of Rwanda planned to extend the economic recovery fund. But if you have the screen, I can just explain it because you have the test on the screen. Here, the presentation today is economic recovery fund for phase 1 and phase 2. For the phase 2, this last paragraph is where we have just to make introduction on economic recovery fund phase 2. Now, the main objective, as some of you know already, the main objective was to support businesses, as you can read on the screen. Now, the fund amount for the phase 1 was about 100 million US dollar, and the phase 2 will be a bit more than 250. Exactly, it will be 257.5. We can say that money is already mobilized from World Bank, which will give us 100 million. We have also the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which is going to give us, the World Bank will give us 150 million, and the IIB will give us 100 million US dollar. We have also in the pipeline 3 million from USAID. Now, the purpose of the Economic Recovery Fund was at least for the economic, for phase one, it was for 3 reasons. It was for loan restructuring, for most of restructuring was for hotels. We have also the working capital for large companies and small companies, but we have also working capital and loan guarantee for both SMEs and micro businesses. Now, for operational guidelines, we worked with the Central Bank, which for the moment is the fund manager, and also BDF is the fund manager for micro businesses. Now, for hotels, I don't know if we are together. Let me maybe and show my screen to follow with you.
We are together. We are together, Bart.
Okay. Okay. Now for hotels refinancing, we had application. The total application was 149 for hotels, for amount of 42 billion.8, and among 149, 139 was approved, and the amount disbursed was 42.7, which represented at least 96.6 of approved funds. Now, for the working capital, we had 2 parties. One party went to Central Bank, which represented 46 billion. And another part, 5 billion, went to BDF for micro businesses. Now, the summary I'm giving here is showing where we are together. Today, the BNR received and approved the 205 application, which represent 15 billion already approved. That was the application. What is approved today is for 142 application, which represented 10.4 million, but I think here is a mistake. It should be billion, 10.4 billion. Yeah. And 113 application, which worth 9.7 billion have been dispersed, meaning that 142 application was approved, which represented 10.4 billion. And among that, 9.7 billion have been already dispersed. Now for micro businesses, which is in BDF, normally they received the application from 229 SACCOs, and for representing 2.972 application or beneficiaries, which represented 2 billion almost 8.
Bart, which slide are you, Bart?
I'm still on ERF phase 1 implementation status, where we start by hotels refinancing.
Which phase? Which slide? 6, 7?
Is 5.
Okay.
You are lost?
Okay. If you are on number 5, we are there.
Yeah, it's 5, yes. Oh, let me follow your screen, it's better. Yeah, I think we are done with this one. No, the last line where we have 85 application approved by BDF, which represents 609 million already disbursed. We can go to the following slides. Yeah, here I'm just, this is a summary to show you where the money went, in which sector. This is sectors were funded by Central Bank. As I said, you can see that the big share went to hotels and the restaurants, which represent almost 4.2 billion. But this is for working capital. This is for working capital. Maybe you can ask why here we have a small amount, or for the first slide, we saw that hotel consumes more than 42 billion. This is for the working capital. The refinancing is another window. Now, we have also trade, which received 2.1 billion. We have education, we have manufacturing, we have transport, and so on. You can see where the money went by each category. But I think here I jumped to some slides, but you already know that was for the pricing. Is the slide 2, I think I didn't explain, but Edie, if you can come back, yeah, these slides, the next one. Yeah, this one. This is for the pricing. I think you know that we, normally Central Bank, we have 4 windows here. The Central Bank gives money to borrowers, to banks at 2%, and the banks give money to give money to hotels for refinancing at 5%. And for window 2, where is for the working capital, the rate also, the interest rate was 8. From Central Bank to banks. No, was 2 from Central Bank to banks, and from banks to borrowers was 8. Now, the window 3 is guarantee. Guarantee, there the interest, or if I can call it, the commission was 0.25. And for window 4, where we have micro businesses, is the same. BDF gives the money to SACCOs, 82%, and SACCOs to borrowers also receive, the SACCO receives the money and gives credit to 8%. You can see the tenor and the grace period. Now, for the governance here, I forgot to explain also this. Normally, how this ERF is implemented, we have 2 key committees. The technical committee, which is composed by a key share, if I can, key stakeholders. We have Central Bank, we have Minecofin, we have RDB, we have the Association of Banks, we have PSF, and we have BDF and the Association for Micro Business. Now we have also for the same committee, the same members, we have the steering committee, which comes after to have a oversight on the technical committee. We can go to now can come back to the 5 or 6, the slide 6. You can stop me if you have questions. I don't know if you have to wait until I finish the presentation, or you can interrupt me for question if you have them.
So we are going to hear the presentation, and after the presentation, we'll be hearing the question whether a person can raise a hand or can use the chat box.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think this slide was already done. You can go to the following. Yeah, now here we have details for micro businesses. I just wanted to show to you the penetration of this economic recovery fund because through SACCO we have the all districts, and we can see how much money went to which district and to which province. Now, starting by the city of Kigali, we have, for instance, for Kicukiro, we can see that Kicukiro SACCOs from Kicukiro got 19 billion. The big part in the city of Kigali went to Asabo district, 33 billion, and Nyarugenge has 8 billion. Now, the total amount for city of Kigali is 80.9 billion. Now, for the West, we can see that went to, I see that Magabe, no, Muhanga. We have Muhanga and Nyamagabe, followed by Nyaruguru. Is where we can see that they benefited more than other districts. And the total amount for this province is 739.9 billion. Following. Yeah, yes, yeah. Here now we can see for the Western province is where we can see that they benefited a lot. The total amount approved until now is 1 billion point almost 1. And the big part here went to Rusizi, followed by Nyabihu and Rutsiro. For other districts, you can see also what they have. Now for the North Province, we have the big part which went to Musanze, and this is the and we can understand this because Musanze is the big town. We have also Gicumbi. Also we have Gakenke. Others received less, but Burera received almost 5 billion. This is where the penetration was not enough. I don't know if the sensibilization was not good, or I don't know the reason for the moment. Now for the East, we have also the big part. You can see that the big part went to Kirehe, followed by Kayonza, and others came. Now, the total amount for the moment approved by BDF is almost 2.8 billion. And the total amount they have for this window is 3.5 billion, meaning that the remaining amount is almost less than 700 million. Yeah, this is the end of the presentation for ERF1. Now the next slide, we can see just how this ERF2 will get money from where for what. This is the allocation of the total envelope we are saying that is almost 250. And for this ERF2, normally it will be a bit different from the first one, because for the first one, it was related to businesses which was most affected by COVID. But for this ERF2, what I can say that will be new is that even the new investment will be financed through this ERF2. Now, you can see that the big amount will go to the investment, for which will be around 150 million US dollar. And this, the big part will be for manufacturing, but also for other activities which are related to value chain. Here we have light industry. We have, for instance, import substitution. We have, for instance, for construction material. We have other product which can be manufactured in Rwanda instead of continue to import. Now, for the same ERF2, we have also about 10 million for working capital. Here, maybe also the criteria will be different from the one we have for the moment. I hope that for the ERF1, I didn't go in details, but you have all details in ERF guidelines, which is posted on the Minecofin website. For those who didn't have the chance to have it, is under Minecofin publication, report, chief economist, and so on. You can find it there under macro policy department division. Now, for this working capital, the criteria will be based on sectors. You will no longer maybe see that they have to show if the loss was almost 30% compared to the last year, as it was a condition for the ERF1. But we will see which sector can contribute for the Economic Recovery Fund, and that criteria will be will help it to give money to borrowers. Now, for micro business, again, here it will be managed by BDF, and we have 80 million. 80 million, which will be for micro business, also will serve as investment, but also for the working capital. The same amount below here for the risk sharing also will go to BDF. Risk sharing maybe is a new concept here. It was not in the ERF1. This will help, for instance, someone who, for instance, got money from, let us say, for instance, for I&M, and he, due to the bad event, maybe it can be, if he's in agriculture, for instance, it can be a bad season. He can lose the money for his business. Now, BDF will be there to help that business to get money to cover or to help that businessman to continue the business. Meanwhile, that money will be instead of going in bank route, the BDF will pay the I&M money, and the borrower will continue to operate. Now, when the business will stabilize, This operator will reimburse the money to BDF, and that will help to continue the business. I think in this one we have also insurance component which will intervene for compensating the loss if any. Now we have also for refinancing, you have that 7.5 million, and this will be based in BRD. BRD is the one which will be the fund manager for ERF2. It will be no longer central bank. Now it will be the BRD. Now the balance will go to the institutional and firms capacity strengthening, meaning that for implementation of ERF2, we will have BRD as fund manager, and also BDF, and Minicofin will be there also for the coordination. Yeah, is explained below here. You can see that BDF will be there for SMEs and large companies and investments, and working capital for micro businesses. But BRD will be there for working capital to the same component, but also for the large companies. BRD will have two options here. You can see that BRD should be in contact directly with the borrower, or BRD would give money to banks, and banks will give loan to borrowers. Yeah, in two cases, the guidelines will indicate the condition which will fix the ceiling, so that BRD should not go in other activities funded by commercial banks. Yeah, this is what I can say on this ERF2 for the moment. Other information will be available after the launch, which is planned, is the end of the presentation. The launch is planned in August. After that, I think we will have also all documents will be in place, so that we should have more details, what we don't have today. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Obad, for the good presentation. So if there is any question regarding the presentation, feel free to raise a hand. To raise your hand or to use the chat box. Sylvain, are you there? I don't know whether Sylvain can hear me. He had a question, and if not, is there any question regarding the, I can see Diane and Muhoza Patrick. So Diane, can unmute yourself. I see you have unmuted, so you can ask your question, and after that we will hear from Muhoza Patrick. Then the presenter will answer the two after we'll receive other questions. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you so much, Irene. Thanks also for the insightful presentation. My question is, currently, all up to now, Rwanda now aspire to reach middle-income countries, where, according to World Bank study, by 2035, and high-income countries as studied by 2050. This aspiration will be carried out through a series of 7 years National Strategy for Transformation, NCT1. To that, when compared to this ELF, Economic Recovery Fund, there are some sectors which seems yet to be included. Then I would like to ask, what strategies, effective strategy is going on so that some sectors which have not been included to this ELF, to this economic recovery, what are you planning for those sectors so that they can be included, which will not be a challenges to achieve the goals which country had. Thank you. Beside COVID. Thanks.
Okay, may I respond directly?
Is Patrick ready to ask the second question so that you may answer the two at the same time?
I see another question from Kayonde here and respond to both.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe let me start from Kayonde. I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. I'm just an economist. Now, you are asking for ERF2 about sectors like education. Question I received it before. Now, for ERF2, if you can see in the presentation, I didn't say which sector will be selected. I said just the criteria will be based on sectors, but for the moment, we don't know exactly which sector will be selected. We will have to work together with BRD to see which sector will benefit from ERF2. After that, as I said, after the launch, we will know which sector will be included and which one will not be included. But for the moment, there is no sector which is already selected. Yeah, this is what I can say for this question. Thank you.
Hello?
The question from Diane.
It's the same, almost the same question. Diane asked for the also for sectors, some sectors which are not, which will not be financed by ERF2. And as we are heading to the middle income country and to the high income country, she would like to know why some sectors are not selected. I think it's the same response. We don't know exactly for the moment which sector will be left behind. BRD will try to maximize, but we don't know for the moment which sector will not getting money from ERF2.
There is this question from Laurent Dizihiwe. He said, like, if this fund is only COVID, do you think business to COVID and wants strengthen the economy?
Yeah, much.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I was going to read the same one, but you can read this one.
Okay. Yeah, I said it. I said it. We had that criteria in ERF1, but it will no longer be the criteria for ERF2. We will not consider. We will have also room for new investment, as I said, and new business will come there.
There is another question from
But maybe we are sorry. Maybe we are still just seeing which sector will be in ERF2. This forum also to know which kind of sector would like to be considered in F2. That also to this.
When you look at the interest rate on BNR, 2% to financial institution is very low compared to the financial institution. So that's send them to get the loan is there. So she was,
what we have in the discussion we are having with implementing agencies, meaning BDF and BRD, we kept almost the same rate because conditions are the same. We can't say that the condition will be different from the one we were in when we implemented the ERF1. This question is like we know that the key repo rate is 4.5 for the moment. But when banks are lending to 18 or 17, you can see that big difference which is there is due to many factors which are maybe not going to explain here, but it is the same case for this ERF money. I think for the moment, we can't say as Minecofin that the rate will be below 5. It will, no, below 8. It will be 8 as for ERF1. But if the condition come to change, I think the central bank will inform other banks to reduce. That is not our attribution. That is for the central bank to negotiate with other commercial banks. Thank you. That is the first question. Now for the challenge. Yeah, for the challenge, the big challenge we had maybe 2 months ago was the low uptake. That was the first challenge. And the second one is to get the information from banks. For instance, you know that every commercial bank would like to sell the money they have instead of selling this money from government. And most of the time when someone went to request for loan, the first proposal was to get money from the bank, directly from bank. And we spent almost 6 months without seeing the uptake going up. And we took the decision to go around to know what was happening. And after the discussion we had with commercial banks, at least they accepted it to affect at least one staff just to give information about ERF. That was the big challenge. Now, the second challenge is that, for instance, is, as I said, everyone had to show the impact, the level of impact he got from COVID. And you know, most of our micro businesses, they don't have the book where they can have all information. And it was not easy for them to show that the loss was below 30%. We started by 50, and we saw that the 50 was a lot. We reduced it to 30, and even for that, some of them was not able to show that they got to that level of loss. And for the tax areas, you know, some of our businesses, they don't comply with Rwanda Revenue Authority for taxes. And if you had, for instance, areas and you don't have the plan for reimbursement to the Rwanda Revenue Authority, you were out of the competition. And most of them also was not able to apply due to two conditions what were there for ERF1. I can say that those 2 points was the key challenges for the ERF1. But we have others. We have others which are minor. That was the principal reasons. Now, for success for the moment, we are waiting to do the assessment. We have a firm which will help us to do the assessment. From there, we'll know if this has which level of impact. For sure, the success is there, as I said before. At least we can see that most of businesses are still running. That is almost a success, because most of them should already closed the businesses. And also we have also employment there. If for instance, for the moment, even if hotels and restaurants reduced the effective of staff, but at least they still have some staff which are paid, some staff who are paid. And maybe for this period lockdown, almost all of them, they are at home. But at least we have some businesses which are still running. That is what we can see as a success for the moment. And also when we see our recovery, if we see, for instance, the growth of GDP, we starting by the Q2 last year to the Q1 this year, we can see the improvement. And that improvement, also we can say that we have many components which explaining that. We can say that, for instance, for the agriculture sector, that is not necessary from the ERF, but for industry, we can see that ERF was for the big part. And also the low recovery we are seeing from the services, also we can say that the ERF contributed to that. This is, in brief, this is what I can say for the moment. Over to you. For the question from Patrick, what is the current status about the payment back? Okay. Yeah, this exercise, I can say that for the moment, we don't know exactly which one paid back the money. This we are waiting to conclude this phase one, to know, to ask the Central Bank and the BDF about the return, the back loan amount provided in different sectors. But for sure, I know that even if there is amount which is already back, is a small one, is a small part.
There is a question from Sylvain Mudahinyuka, referred to the pillar of NST1, to refer to building knowledge based on economic country. So he was wondering how you consider literacy activities and reading culture in Rwanda, and how do you plan to enhance librarianship, in Rwanda?
Liberia, I don't understand what if maybe you can explain a bit what he wants to say. Yeah, for this question, maybe when I'm waiting for that question, for this question about the to reduce the terms of condition for those looking for recovery and so on, compared to ERF 1. Yeah, almost I said it, that we are not considering the impact of COVID to get the loan through ERF 2. That can be considered like less condition. There is at least one condition which will not be considered for this ERF 2. Now, for Andrew, I'm worried if you launch this ERF 2 phase before you know success, okay, it's gone. I don't see it anymore.
There's two other questions.
Yeah. Maybe if I understand what you want to say, for him, he's saying that before launching this ERF2, we should know which loan will be paid back. But it's not possible to wait for that because the loan was almost for more than 1 year. And until now, for instance, we know that other sectors are still waiting for refinancing, like in education sector and transport. Yeah, meaning that if you have to wait until the money is back, the ERF2 will delay. And what we need for the moment is at least to give money in sectors of production to help the economy to recover. If we have to wait again until money is back, we will lose the objective. That is why we have to launch ERF2 before getting the money back. I see that Mudahinyuka is asking you to unmute him. Maybe we'll have to.
You see, that's what I was saying. I think our IT person, the moderator, need to coordinate to help people unmute themselves to ask questions.
The other question, I did not see also the share of loan in ERF2 to be allocated in agriculture sector as the sector employ more people. Yeah, I said that the sectors are not yet selected. Agriculture sector will be considered in ERF2, but I can't know for the moment which will be the share, what share will go to the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector will have two parts. We have agro industry and also we have activities of agriculture themselves. But for the moment, I don't know exactly which part will go this.
There's two questions from Jean-Pierre Duhami Kadri and one from Rwizangoga Diogene. Jean-Pierre was requesting to clarify on what guided the allocation of the funds by each district. For instance, why Muhanga benefited more in Southern Province, and Rugwizangoga was asking why does Minecofin thought BNR plan to do on the non-performing loans in the banks of the clients? Who lost their jobs due to COVID-19 pandemic? Is the auction a solution in the economy which always strive for the financial stability of its? Is it an option?
NPRs, okay. Come again for NPRs. No.
For the second question?
Yes.
He was asking why Minecofin thought BNL planned to do on the non-performing loans in the banks of the clients who lost their jobs due to COVID-19 pandemic. Is the auction a solution in the economy which always strive for the financial stability of its? Is it an option?
Okay, maybe let me start by that. What Minecofin is doing for no performing loans due to staff which losses the job due to the COVID and so on. Yeah, I think that Minecofin, as I said, you know that the central bank has the autonomy. We don't need to say or to dictate them what they have to do. Normally, each bank, each commercial bank has a collateral. If you get a loan in the bank, you have the collateral. The first thing they have to do is to recover from the collateral you gave. If that is not possible to recover the money, is where people are. Each file is sent to central bank, for be classified in each category, either category 2, 3, 4, depending on the time you didn't pay back your loan. Yeah, I think Minecofin doesn't have, in short, Minecofin doesn't have it to dictate to central bank the measure to take for this case. Yeah. Now for Jean-Pierre, the criteria. The information I shared, I got normal information from BDF. I don't know exactly what was the criteria, but as I know, maybe there we have, but we can come back to the presentation. Maybe you can see that there we have many SACCOs, and also maybe they have many beneficiaries. That is why the amount also was bigger than other districts. I think it depends on the demand.
Thank you. There is Ivan raised a hand, and I can see Ivan, you are unmuted. You are unmuted, so can you address your question?
Thank you very much, Aline. My name is Ivan, and from the Ministry of Finance, and I work with about on the ERF monitoring, and I would like to clear a few questions. I think maybe I'll start with the one from Sylvain, where I included he mentioned something of librarianship and the reading culture. I really can't see maybe how it's directly related to ERF, but I'll try to put it this way. I think that category will fall under education, and the education sector was one of the sectors that were really selected as priorities under the ERF 1. So I think maybe that will clear his question. It falls under the education sector, and it was one of the sectors that were really considered to be the pillar sectors to be financed first. Also, there's a question from Patrick. What are the penalties of the businesses that fail to pay? So, I'll say that the ERF, like any other loan, well, this was a fund that, as Obal said, that was created to help the businesses. So it's like any other loan, but now with the, how can I say it, with its speciality or its uniqueness is that it's there to help the businesses. It's not like any other loan, but it's there to help to give businesses loans to a lower rate. So yes, like any other business that fails, then there are penalties because they are provided by the commercial banks and the SACCOs. So like any other loan that fails, then there are penalties. I think that's what I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are already past time, but let's just take 2 questions. There is this question from Sylvain, who asked if there is any specific funds that will be focusing only on youth businesses that has been affected by COVID-19, and what measures to support youth in terms of job creation.
Yeah, we said it. The ERF1 focused most on businesses which had impact from COVID, but ERF2 will have both. We'll consider businesses affected by COVID, but also we'll consider the new business. I think for the moment, we can't say that any business will be left behind. We have to wait until we will precise which sectors will be selected. But for the moment, we can't say that this business will be not benefiting from the ERF2. I think this is what I can say for the moment. But after, maybe when we will be having the list of sectors which we have to benefit from ERF2, at that time we will be able to give clarification, more clarification on that. Over to you.
Yes, thank you. Patrick also was asking, I think Ivan have said that there are some penalties, but he was Patrick was asking, like, what are the penalties of the business when they fail to repay the loans provided?
Yeah, no, normally, if the big burden, I can say that is from commercial banks, because even if money is coming from government, but the loan are given by commercial banks, and before giving the loan, they had also to see if they have all conditions are covered. Said every loan must have the collateral. It's the same for the loans we gave through the ERF1, meaning that they will follow the normal procedure to recover the loan. But if they fail to pay back, that means that the collateral will be sold. That is the first option. But for maybe for business, for micro businesses, BDF also knows what is going to do. For the moment, our preoccupation, we are waiting to see after the project what will be the return, the back loan. But there is for the moment, there is no penalty for the moment, but for sure they will have to follow conditions from the commercial banks or from BDF.
So, thank you. Allow me to just end the this policy dialogue of ours. I know there are still some more questions, but you can always check on the Minecofin website. You can always, we are going to share with you the presentations. So if you don't think I have your email, please, you can write your email in the chat box, or you can reach to EPRN. I will share my email on the chat box. So before I give the floor to the Executive Director of EPRN for the closing remarks, I would like to give the chance or the floor to our presenter of today, so that if there is something that he would like to say before we give the floor to the Executive Director, please, the floor is yours.
Maybe, Albert, before you take the opportunity you gave by Irene, you can also touch on one of the questions I got out, like I can say, behind the curtains. Do you think ERF2 will have some considerations for informal sector? Because ERF1 had some conditions, businesses registered with the books of accounts, everything. How about those informal sectors, like all those females who sells fruits, whatever, and even, you know what means informal sector. 2 is what they said for youth, maybe you already covered. Maybe you can touch, you think there will be consideration of the informal sector, and then you say a word as I requested before you close.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, as you know, even for ERF1, we have also informal sector through SACCOs. It was hard for the beginning to have all information requested, but after the BDF was not obliged to have the book of account and so on. That allowed many of informal sector, many businesses from informal sector to benefit from the BDF, from the money through the BDF. And it will be the same for this ERF2. Informal sector will be there, and they will get money even for the commercial bank. Even for the commercial bank, if they have collateral, as I said, they will get money. For the moment, I know that all components are considering the informal sector. Now, for the for the youth or for women, or that also will be considered, but it will depend on which window, which category, which sector. That I think they will be benefiting, but it will depend on which sector they will be working on. This is what I can say for that. Now, what I can say for the moment, as I said before, we are still elaborating the document which will be used for the ERF2, and we would like to maybe to brainstorm in this forum to know which sector, for instance, you would like it to be considered in ERF2. Maybe Aline can. Otherwise, I thank you again for your kind attention and for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our presenter of today, and thanks to everyone, the audience. I've already shared the email of the presenter, and I can see the email of Ivan Hirgwa. So if you have any recommendation and suggestion, as the presenter have said, please feel free to write to them directly. So I would like to welcome the Executive Director of EPRN Rwanda for the closing remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aline. Thank you very much, Claude, for facilitating IT site. And thank you, our presenter, Obard. Thank you, participants. We had participants from various ministries, government institutions who are partners of EPRN. We had participants from development partners. Thank you for joining us. Most importantly, we have been with participants from GIZ. GIZ is one of the key supporters, partners of EPRN, actually one of the founding institutions which supported the creation of EPRN. So thank you, GIZ, program manager of the MIP program, for being with us. Thank you, dear members of EPRN. We saw also participants from international NGOs and the local NGOs, to Terimbere, Oxfam. Thank you for joining us. So this was just a few minutes, short time to brainstorm on this topic. But of course, we shall continue organizing this kind of discussions and dialogues. So whenever you see an invitation from our side, kindly be with us and join, because it's a good to have a culture of debating, to learn from the speakers, presenters like Obard today, learn from these new developments, but also make some contributions, ask questions like the way we did today. So without further ado, I thank you for joining us and I wish you a good evening. Thank you. We will share with you through emails the presentation of today. Thank you.